San Antonio, you are in for an impactful program today. What can we do with the homeless population in our city? What does it mean to truly serve? And how can you get involved, especially with ministries like Church Under the Bridge and the San Antonio Church of Hope? Stay tuned, we're starting now. So welcome to Joy in Our Town. San Antonio, you are going to be so glad you tuned in today. I'm your host, Becky Spieth, and with us today is the director from the San Antonio Church of Hope, and her name is Dorcas Rogers. So welcome to the program, Dorcas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about San Antonio Church of Hope.
Well, it started back in the 90s by a woman named Verna Mae Boone. When she was younger, she was a housekeeper and used to clean houses on Fort Sam. One day she was at the bus stop waiting for the bus, and she saw a woman eating out of the trash. So she offered her sack lunch, but the woman wouldn't take the offer. But she watched her, and as she watched her, she walked behind this ice house and disappeared. So that evening when Verna came back to the bus stop, she snuck behind there to see that there was a group of homeless people that were living behind this ice house. So from then on, every day she would take 2 sack lunches, and she would leave one at the corner for the people there. And so that was just how her heart started with the homeless. And then back in the 90s, she started actually having church services under the bridges in the San Antonio downtown area. So she started out small, but now we probably feed around 200 people.
Wow.
Every Sunday there. Well, we're basically a mobile church. We roll up, we have tables and chairs, a generator, we set everything up, we do a full praise and worship section, we have a preaching section where we have pastors that come and give a message. After that, we have a time of prayer where people can come up and be prayed over. Then after that, our volunteers serve them a hot meal at their table. Wow. So we actually serve them. They don't come through a soup line, they don't come through a line. So we're actually real hands-on in our ministry with them. So
well, it sounds like it. So it's a mobile church. You come and you roll up, and then how do you get the attendees to come? Do they know that you're coming, or how do you get the word out?
Well, the ministry's been around for quite a while. We do have several churches in town that have been involved with me. BRCC is one, Summit Christian Center, Expect a Miracle Church also. We also use social media a lot. Facebook has been great to share, and just, you know, the younger kids that come, they always take pictures and share that, and then get their friends to come. So it's just a combination of a lot of different churches and people that come down there.
We come out here every second, fourth, and fifth Sunday of the month at 2 o'clock, and we serve upwards of 200 people, 200 homeless people every time. And you know, sometimes we even get kids, because the average age of a homeless person in San Antonio is 6 years old. I want to encourage everybody to come out, volunteer your time, about an hour and a half on your Sunday. These people really, really need that uplifting, need your help, that encouragement to do and get through another day. I personally believe that everyone is, you know, 3, 4, or 5 missed paychecks away from being homeless themselves. So it's a good thing to come as a family, bring your kids out here so they can, you know, give to the community and see what life is really all about. It's literally one step away from being out in the streets. So I go to Summit Christian Center. I found out about this place through Summit Christian Center, and after the first time I came out, I was hooked. It's been a passion of mine ever since, and you know, I've been giving to many organizations, but this year has become the one that I spend the most time with.
If somebody wanted to get involved, what would the process look like for them to volunteer?
Well, we welcome anyone to come down there, and we don't stop at age groups. We like the children to come down and get that experience. Of course, we'll give them a job kind of, you know, that's suited to the children. But you can go to our website, and you're welcome to come down any Sunday. I am over the second and the fourth Sunday, and then if we have a fifth Sunday, I take care of that too. But I have other churches that take care of the other Sundays. So it's just kind of a, a group of us that do it and organize it.
And this is under a bridge. What bridge is this under?
We're under I-35 at Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
It's basically where the UTSA students park
Okay.
during the week, so the parking lot's empty and we get it. And we just set up down there. We start about 1:30 and set everything up and go through our church service and everything, and by 3:30 we're rolling up the church and driving away.
Okay. So tell me about the praise and the worship portion.
Well, we have different bands that come down on the different Sundays, and they do a time of worship, and that really touches people. Sometimes we do it in Spanish. We do have a lot of Hispanic people down there, so that's nice that they can, go and hear some of their own music too.
It's a fun flavor, right?
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times we'll just play CDs. A lot of times our volunteers will just make a big circle around all of the people down there, and we'll pray over them or sing over them. So we use our music in a lot of different ways to minister to them.
It sounds to me like you're ministering to the homeless, but I'll bet you're ministering almost as much to the volunteers as well. Can you share a story with us?
Well, I have a couple that have been coming down for quite some time, and I remember the first day they were there. They're very tall, so you can't miss them. But the husband just had this look on his face, like he was just so wanting to be there and be a part of what we were doing. And they kept coming back and kept doing more and more as far as volunteering. And finally one day I asked his wife, a little bit, to tell me a little bit about them. I wanted to know something about them. And they both come from a Catholic background. They had both decided that volunteering just wasn't fun. Had some bad experiences in that. And then they left the Catholic Church and decided to go into non-denominational. And so they went to Summit Christian Center, and of course I always have a table there whenever they ask for volunteers, and they signed up. Well, his wife, Debbie, couldn't seem to push Steve to come down and give it a try, even though they had signed up. So finally one Sunday she said, I'm just going down there to feed those homeless. So Steve was like, well, I can't let her go down there by herself, So he came down, and I mean, as soon as he got down there and started seeing what was going on and how we were serving, he was hooked. And they have just been so faithful to come and be a part of it and volunteer, and they bring the water every Sunday that we hand out, and they've just been great. So it blesses the volunteers a lot more than they think it will, because of just our hands-on with them. It's just different than most homeless ministries. So
it's really being the hands and feet of Jesus. It
exactly
sounds like to me.
They do not have to die, but they do.
24,000 children every day.
They die for reasons we can prevent.
Like not getting enough food
or medicine,
Or clean, safe water to drink.
24,000 children every day.
but we are gaining ground. A generation ago, twice as many children were dying.
Still, 24,000 every day?
They do not have to die.
But they do.
They die because they are young and vulnerable.
They die because, through no fault of their own,
They are poor.
24,000 children. 24,000 children.
24,000 children.
Every day. My name is Taya Leone.
My name is Joel Madden.
My name is Orlando Bloom.
My name is Salma Hayek.
My name is Lawrence Fishburne, and I believe.
I believe. Believe.
I believe.
Believe.
My name is Liam Neeson, and I believe that number should be 0. Believe in 0.
Join the effort. Visit unicefusa.org.
Today's lesson, charter schools. Let's start with some facts. All charter schools are public schools, open to all students. Charter schools build partnerships between parents, teachers, and students to boost student achievement. And as public schools, charters never charge tuition. Charter schools, offering free, quality public education. National Alliance for Public Charter Schools. Learn more at www.publiccharters.org.
Can you kind of walk me through, like, what does that experience truly look like? Tell us what it looks like from start to finish. As you start to unpack, I'm sure you've got volunteers there to help. But
actually, the homeless help us unload the truck most of the time.
Okay.
My truck driver is a woman, and she gets there a little bit early. So most of the homeless people will help her unload and get the tables set up and get coffee going. And then our group will kind of slowly come. Our praise and worship shows up first, and they'll start with music. And basically, when the volunteers start, we'll start handing out water. Then after that, you know, we have a prayer group that'll go around and ask if they need prayer, where we take prayer requests. So it's kind of a time that we mingle with them. Whenever they walk up, we have a greeter who greets them, welcomes them, just like you would in a church. Then after our praise and worship, we kind of settle down and the pastor preaches. And once that's over, we have an altar call. We always ask for prayer. People will come up and get saved or ask for prayer. So, and then after that, we settle down and we feed them.
And what do you do with the prayer requests after that? Do you have a prayer team, or what happens with the prayer requests after that?
I do. I have a prayer team who puts that down in an email, and then we send it out to all of our volunteers. Right now, we're working on a list for our churches to send out to some of the churches that help us.
Is it only churches that are getting involved, or is it other people in the community?
Oh no, with social media, you get people from all over that hear about us. I had a young kid not too long ago. Gosh, he's a teenager. I don't even think he's driving yet. He said he took a Uber down there.
Oh, he Ubered in?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And cute little boy, he's come down several times, and he said, oh, I just saw it on Facebook. Somebody shared it with somebody else. And he just comes down every once in a while, you know, and just serves.
My name is Joel, and what it feels like about helping others makes me really happy. And whenever we come here, we've been here since June 2016, and it's been really amazing and fun. And whenever I always feel like I'm around them, I feel like they're family to me. And I feel like I wish I could be more part of them, and I communicate
Any other organizations that are involved in helping your program or your project?
Randolph Air Force Credit Union. They've been very active in giving us different toiletry items, things like that to give out. AT&T, a group of their women, have been there. For Christmas, they did an awesome thing. They gathered purses, just slightly used purses from different women, and we filled them with toiletry items and women's items, and that's what we gave the women under the bridge as a Christmas gift. Was a nice purse and all their toiletry items. So there's a small group from AT&T that helps us with that. USAA, I'm sorry, they have a group of women that have been helping us for years, gathering toiletry items. During Christmas and Thanksgiving, they always help us with the turkeys and either gathering them or cooking them. So there's a few organizations out there that have lended a hand.
I heard about a challenge that took place, I think maybe about a year or so ago, with different restaurants. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it was kind of like the Ice Bucket Challenge, but it was a restaurant challenge. And we started with one restaurant, and he came down and fed, and then he challenged another restaurant to come down and do the same. One of the local television stations did a little thing on it so that it kind of kept it going for a few months, but it was pretty awesome to see how they came out. But they came out with their food, with their own employees to help serve, and it was pretty awesome, and they all really got blessed by it.
Wow. You know, I want to encourage our viewers, if you're just tuning in, we are talking with Dorcas Rogers today from San Antonio Church of Hope. She's the church under the bridge at 35 and Cesar Chavez. And I want to challenge each one of you to get involved with your community, get involved with what Dorcas is doing with the church under the bridge. She's there the second and the fourth Sunday, right? So I encourage you to get involved. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Everybody can be great because everyone can serve." When you volunteer, you're bringing hope to the hopeless. Hope is a rock from which we stand, and that rock is Christ. As Christians, it's our duty to make a difference, to help, bring hope, and to feed the hungry. Matthew 25:35 says, "For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me." Be the light that can brighten the path of another, bring a smile to the face of the downtrodden, and be the miracle in the midst of difficulty. This message has been brought to you by KHCE TV23. So how else can people get involved with what you're doing?
Well, there's lots of needs when you have a mobile ministry. Right now, we're in great need of a new truck. Our truck is a 1978 U-Haul.
Wow.
And right now, we're only parking it not too far from where we meet, but before it was parked all the way at one of the lakes. So it was a while to get it down here, or a process to get it down here. But that's our big need right now, is to replace that truck and get it going and buy a little bit more supplies. Our group is growing down there, so we're running out of tables and chairs. Okay. We're always in need of that. Toiletry items, blankets, coats, used clothing.
So it's more than just food.
Oh yeah, yeah. We give out toiletry items. We try to do that every time we go under the bridge. We do have a couple that gives us socks every month, which is really awesome. They send us a case of socks. Socks is something that is always needed, summer and winter. Of course, coats and blankets, that's always, always needed. And toiletry items, they never get.
Okay, and where does the food come from?
Well, several churches give to us. The ones that I had mentioned, they give to us every month on a monthly basis. We do have some larger donors that donate to us on a monthly basis. We have a couple that, this kind of sounds weird, but she gives us a cow every year.
She gives you a cow every year. There you go.
Yeah. Her and her husband are real involved in FHA, and every year they usually buy the grand steer from the rodeo, or at least one of the steers from the auctions, and what they do is they donate it to us once it's butchered and cut down. then they have a freezer, and so we just go, and throughout the year when we need it, you know, they supply that.
Can you share with us as a parting story, a short story about maybe someone that you've been able to help?
Well, I'm thinking of this one gentleman. He and his girlfriend have been coming under the bridge for many, many years, and Hugh is a veteran. He's also crippled. When I first met him, this was way back when Mama Boone was alive, he was just really hung up on drugs and in the streets and just struggled back and forth. But he would always come to our church. He was always there, no matter what. And even though sometimes I could smell the drugs on him and I knew he was high, but we always welcomed him. But through the years and just with talking with him and helping him in certain situations, he's gotten off the streets. He doesn't spend his money on drugs anymore. He tithes to our church, which is very awesome. And now he has a girlfriend, and he's doing so well. I mean, just to see the change in him, you know, has really blessed me over the years, because Hugh's been coming down there for at least 10 or 15 years now.
Wow. Thank you for serving the people of San Antonio and our community to the capacity that you do. We really appreciate you and what you're doing with the San Antonio Church of Hope.
Oh my God, just come and be a blessing and hear our friends' stories. We've got friends here that have been coming down here since I've been coming down here over 10 years. One of them is Pop, and when I first met him, he was a drug addict and doing cocaine, heroin, everything. And now he's clean, and he was baptized here under the bridge, and he's drug-free.
Hello, I'm Pastor Warren Beamer from the Dream Center here in San Antonio, and if you've got community events going on in your church or in this city that you want other people to be a part of, then join us at KHCE Channel 23 on Facebook. That's KHCE Channel 23 on Facebook. Look us up, let us know what's happening so we can join you there.
All right, I'm Pastor Jimmy Robles from Last Chance Ministries and Bridging the Gap, and I want to challenge the leaders and the pastors that are out there watching to get connected and get involved. Listen, if you want to get involved and you want to do something for the city or want to make a difference, you have desire in your heart, I want you to send a message to KHCE TV23. Amen. That's KHCE TV23, and we'll get more information to you. We'll reach out to you and show you and tell you what you can do next. I would also like to thank Matt Krause for allowing us to do this, and what a blessing for those open doors, his beautiful heart, for everything that he's doing and for what God's about to do through him as well. So Matt Krause, thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you. Don't forget, KHCE TV23. Get connected, get involved.
I was warned not to come down here, but you know what? My family and I, we decided we wanted to do something together as a family. I have 3 daughters, an 18-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old. My daughter Jules, really our inspiration. She's often called a mini Mother Teresa. She's the one that gave us this drive to come in and really be open to anybody. I mean, the stories and the people I've met down here, I consider them friends.
Thank you so much for joining us for Joy in Our Town, and make sure that you get involved in our community and bring more joy wherever you go. If you want to connect with Dorcas Rogers at San Antonio Church of Hope, you can reach her on the World Wide Web at www.sachurchofhope.org.